Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, now we're back in the 40s. You just can't figure it. But it's pretty comfortable out. The eyes of the world are on Ukraine. And I saw thousands upon thousands in Berlin showing their support for our friends in Ukraine, for their effort. And I think Zelensky has shown himself to be a special leader, showing courage, communicating, well, as best you can, that he sees himself as the captain of a ship, and he's become more articulate about the wrongs he suffered by Russia and by the lack of preparedness. And last Thursday, when representatives of Germany were meeting to discuss what they should do, the president had expressed before the meeting that they should stay on line with what sanctions they'd already had in place. But because Zelensky was so persuasive, who made a call while they were having this meeting, that they expanded upon the sanctions. And it's happening around the world that other nation states are doing precisely that. And so the question is, will it matter? And we'd like to believe that it will. We'd like to believe that somebody's standing up for law and order and respect for nation states and for peoples and who don't want to damage and hurt and kill unnecessarily because of a political appetite that Putin has to live a dream that is historically barred by time and by who our nations have become since. And that he would destroy these people and this bulwark, saving the rest of Europe from this Russian dictator. So that's where I think we are, and it's going to be very sad if Zelensky can't pull it together, but there are people who are literally going back, who've left Ukraine to get a gun and to fight. The forces of Russia have been slowed. They haven't yet been defeated. But the longer they're slowed, the more possible it is for the sanctions to take effect. And they apparently are, because the leaders of the world have decided to throw some caution to the wind and really lean into this. So there's hope. I'm superstitious. I don't want to get ahead of it. And the numbers would argue that you really can't expect in the end Ukraine to win. But such is what makes life and history so fascinating, that the good guys do win. And it's interesting, when they win, it's not the governments, it's the people. Zelensky stands out as an individual who happens to be in the government. His wife stands out saying they want to kill me, and ads that they're putting out. People who've never handled a gun in their life are crying as they hold the gun and talking about what they'll do with it. The Ukraine people have brought down planes, have cut off supply lines with fuel necessary for trucks that are stalled by the side of the road. So it's a struggle, and we can just hope. We can hope that something good happens. Back here at home, we kind of have a sad face, in my opinion. They're starting a trial against one of the rabble that would have overthrown the government. For Christ's sake, if there is such a person, or there ever was such a person, or there is a reason to believe in the teachings from a mountain that he spoke, why in the world are we prosecuting the rabble instead of the traitorous people surrounding Trump who made this possible, who directed them to do it? I said the other day, and somebody picked up on it, that the people are above the law so far that the law is invisible as it applies to them. That's where we are today. We need somebody with 20/20 ethical vision among our prosecutors. I'm talking about Bragg in New York. I'm talking about Garland here. Why don't we give him a chance to take a break from the job? Because what he's doing is ruining America, because the word of law, the word of the Constitution, means nothing if you don't prosecute people who break it. And that's where we are. There's another strain. We talk about war. We talk about justice in our own nation. What about this anti-intellectual push in America? Down in Georgia, the governor who's being challenged is going out attacking Democrats for their policies on education. And you know what the policies really are? The policies are about the safety of our children. The policies are about our children learning. It's about our children not being lied to when they're young about our history, which has its gracious, wonderful moments, and it has some pretty terrible, embarrassing, humiliating ones that in another time would have been crimes against humanity. And even today, when you think about wiping out Native Americans, what we've done with slaves and to people afterwards when they were supposedly free, and women were treated as chattels for most of the history of America. Come on. Our children should know that, because how else can they ever become leaders or voters and prevent it from happening again? So, I think that's about all I have to say today. I think my energy comes from the promise of Ukraine. Like everybody else, I've been in causes and on teams in which we were told we didn't have a chance. And, we put our souls into it, and something better came out of it than was expected. I think the people of the world have the spirit to do that. I'm hoping that they'll kick in the ass our leaders, all of them, not just what happened in Germany, so they all learn that there's a spirit, a human spirit, that will not tolerate this bastard trying to destroy people's lives. We're talking about Putin at his own home, in his own state, and abroad. So we can hope. All the best. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.